Hi Christine, how are you?
Hi John, I'm well. How are you?
Hello Christine, how are you?
I'm
My
well.
name's John and I'll be your iridologist for today.
Okay.
And what that involves is having a look at your iris and just seeing if it shows me anything. It's usually a genetic sign that it can show me, and it might kind of indicate what your family history is like in terms of health and disease or general well-being. Generally speaking, your right eye's really inherited traits from more of your father's side of the family, and your left eye inherits more traits from your mother's side of the family. Everything we discuss here today will be kept completely confidential, and the only other person, if it's okay with you, that should know any information that I know of about you would be your general practitioner or anyone you wish to discuss it with. That'll be fine. So the iris is really consisted of all these little nerve endings that are connected to your brain in one way or another, and they often show signs of your genetics. So it's a useful thing to look at. It doesn't heal anything, it doesn't cure anything, it doesn't even show always any problems. There may be signs in the iris that do indicate certain areas of concern, but you may never actually experience these. It depends on your lifestyle. Depends on your lifestyle and how you treat yourself.
Okay.
And the environment you live in.
Okay.
So, Christina, what brings you here today? Can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Well, I'm 46. I'll be 47 on the 25th of March. It'll be quite interesting, and it'll be good to find out what conditions I might be susceptible to. I suppose I could change my lifestyle if you do pick up something that that I need to be aware of.
Okay, now what this assessment involves is looking at your iris with a light. I will shine a light in your eye if that's okay with one of these iris torches, and I'll also use a side light that may be a bit blinding, but you'll blink as often as you like and you move away as you need, so you just do what's comfortable for you. If
Okay.
I'm in any way hurting you, you let me know and may require me to get close to you, and I'll let you to take off your glasses. Thank you.
No worries. Would you like me to take them off now?
Yes, please. Okay, I'll look at your iris with my, make sure you're looking straight at me. If you care to look just above the eyebrow medial area, and you can open up wide. And you open up your eyelids nice and wide, and you can blink as often as you like. Okay, that's your left eye. I'll look at your right eye. Okay, you've got very nice, beautiful blue eyes.
So they tell me.
Okay, your pupils respond quite nicely. You've got good reflexes. Your eye colour is a blue colour, and blue coloured eyes come in various types. The colour's blue, the structure differs from eye to eye. You might have different people with the same colour eyes but with different structures. Blue coloured eyes are generally referred to as lymphatic eyes, and they are people who in general may come from sort of a similar type of a genetic type of a predisposition. They can suffer some allergic reactions, not necessarily any specific type, but they can be allergic, like as in eczema. They might be allergic in cases like asthma, or they might have like sinusitis or mucus in their nasal passages, coughing perhaps. You know, they're sensitive to certain things and they can be allergic people. They also have a predisposition to have arthritic problems. They may suffer from arthritis of various kinds, osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. They also can tend to gain fluid. They might be fluid gatherers, and they often experience these symptoms as they age. Of course, with all of us, we tend to gain these problems as we get older. So yeah, your eyes are lymphatic, so that's generally what these people can have. Of course, it depends on your lifestyle, what you do, what you eat. Sometimes you may never have any problems whatsoever. They are sometimes people also that tend to have these problems exacerbated or made worse by poor circulation. So it's important that, you know, we exercise well, we eat well, we live healthy, and of course diet is also something we always need to look at. Sometimes also these problems can be actually compounded or made worse by having poor diet, not being able to digest our food properly, having poor acidity, poor nutrition. Quite often, although we may eat well in terms of quantity and we think we're eating well, we're actually not absorbing the nutrients. So it's very important that we keep everything up to scratch. It's generally a great idea to yes, with these inflammatory conditions, they can sometimes be worsened by things like our thyroid's not working as well either. So that's another thing to consider, and something that you can discuss with your doctor should you have any issues with those sort of problems that need testing. Your doctor can do tests on your body and blood and just check these important factors. It's very important that people with in fact everybody, to have a very good diet and need plenty of water. 2 serves of fruit a day would be nice, not too sweet or sugary. 5 serves of vegetables every day. Ideally, if it's in season, they're the best ones to have because they're the freshest and the most nutritious for you. So it's very, very important we stick to those guidelines if we can, because I know it's far too easy to warm up pre-cooked meals and be satisfied in terms of hunger, but the fact is that the nutrients that you're actually ingesting are probably not quite what they should be. So over time things do accumulate. Now, you need plenty of exercise, but do an exercise that will help you not put too much strain on your body. You do what you can, and you don't want to injure yourself, of course. minimise people with lymphatic eye should probably have less of the
Have I got a lymphatic eye?
lymphatic eye, yeah, but the lymphatic or the blue coloured eye. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Minimise mucus forming foods like things like dairy, wheat, sugars, flour, white flour tend to produce a lot of mucus, so you'll have a lot of congestion. You get excess mucus produced, and also the acidic foods will also make you produce more mucus and hence more congestion, and there'll be a build-up of lymphatic fluids throughout your body. So generally, you may not feel quite as well as as energetic as you should. You should have good quality protein, good quality carbohydrates. Avoid all the sweet, sugary foods. White flesh fish would be good. Even have some omega-3 oil if you like as a supplement. Almonds, good nuts, good oils. Pumpkins, pumpkin seed I should say, flaxseed oil or flax seeds as well. 2 litres of fluid every day. And if you have any juices, dilute them with water or mineral water just to increase the fluid content. Juices can be a bit sweet and you're missing out on all the fibre. Sunshine, get lots of vitamin D happening, but of course not in the peak of the day when you're going to damage your skin. You take it up in the morning. People with blue eyes often have deficiencies in zinc, magnesium, silica and calcium. So it's very important for your bones that you really keep up the good nutrition. There are herbs that do help the people, generally speaking, with the blue eyes. Garlic, Astragalus echinacea. They're good herbs. Always incorporate garlic in your foods. Calendula, burdock, mullein are also good herbs to have. Clivers and vitamin C. Sinus conditions or allergies, particularly sinus conditions, can be controlled with ground ivy, ribwort and eyebright. These are herbs that can be made up for you specifically by a naturopath. And they're just a tonic for you. So now, Chris, I'll take another look at your eye with a eye torch.
Okay.
And this gives me a different angle view of your iris, and it brings out a lot of different levels within the iris that are not normally seen straight ahead.
Okay.
So I'll get you to take your glasses off again, thank you. If you look at my face just there, thank you very much. Sorry to touch you. That's okay, thank you. And if I'm hurting you, move away and you can open up. And open up your eyes, thank you very much. Yep, that gives me a really good view, magnified view. Not hurting you, am I?
No.
And open up wider, thank you. I'll have a look at your right eye as well, thank you. Looking straight at me, chin down a bit, and eyes nice and open. It really shows up a great deal. You can really see the fibres in your iris. Thank you. Was that all right, Christina?
Yes, of course.
The structure in your irises are a glandular structure, so they've got lots of round lacuna. They're called lacuna. They're little round areas that are probably have fibres around their edges, and there's a bit of depth before fibres underneath are visible, so they appear as round darker spots or darker areas. Sometimes they can be really black. That means they're probably more active, and if they're not very noticeable, it probably means that they're just sort of sitting there and it's, you know, showing something, but it's not bothered. They are actually a genetic sign, so we're actually born with them. As I said, on the right side of your eye, you inherit more from your father's side of the family, as far back as 3 generations, and on your left side of the eye, it's really more from your mother's side of the family. In some irises, you can actually see a big difference between one eye and the other. Yeah, your eyes are a glandular structure, and people with glandular structured irises tend to have sort of like a sluggish elimination, like as in they tend to sort of not really eliminate things that well. They tend to need to have support to eliminate toxins from their body. So it's very important that those people, in fact everybody, eat extremely well. High fibre, plenty of water, lots of vegetables. Blood sugars can be a problem with these people as well. You might find that somebody in your family has it. Does anyone in your family have a bit of sugar diabetes?
My dad,
Your dad? Yeah. How old is your dad?
in his 70s.
70s. These people can also have altered thyroid function, like I mentioned with the blue eye people, which seems to be a common occurrence. Yeah, thyroid function can also be affected. These people with the glandular structured eyes can also have like premature menstrual problems or premature menopause, and they also have often constipation and perhaps poor digestion as well. Constipation can be a problem for them, so it's important to keep the fibres up. Dietary support is really good for you. You need to have like low fat foods, high fibre foods, sometimes even digestive enzymes to help your own body digest the food would be useful. It'll also help you perhaps absorb more of the nutrients. It's a good thing to perhaps measure your gastric emptying just to see how long it takes for food to bypass your body. You can do that by using or having a meal of, let's say, corn. Of course, some of the corn won't be digested, and so you can record the time that you ingested the corn kernels and wait until the last amount of corn is eliminated, recording the time when the last amount of corn is eliminated, and that gives you an idea of how long it took you to remove your stools, and it's a good indicator of how much fibre you'd need as well, because if it takes a long time to remove and excrete, you need to increase your fibre, increase your water. Low impact exercise, of course, is very good for you, because high impact exercise can really cause a bit of damage. Common deficiencies in the glandular type of eye is chromium, calcium and vitamin E, so you've got to make sure you have plenty of calcium. There are supplements available if you feel you need something. There are some supplements that are available that have a very absorbable form of calcium. Some of them tend to be a bit on the cheaper side, and they kind of are a bit harsher and harder to absorb, so if you could supplement it with your diet would be great, because all fresh fruit and vegetables have got calcium. Sea veggies are great, especially when there's need to help you with your thyroid problem, if you had one. But they support your thyroid because they've got iodine, and so that's one of the elements needed for thyroxine to help you with your thyroid. Chromium would be useful for people with the glandular structure, people who are predisposed to diabetes, because it is involved in the utilisation of insulin. Even cinnamon, you can actually consume a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon. That may be helpful if you want to go really the herbal pathway. Quarter teaspoon of cinnamon to regulate the glucose and the triglycerides and the cholesterol. It helps with all those, so it's a really good spice and herb to consume. There are other herbs such as bitter melon and guinema. They're good herbs to curb the sweet tooth as well, because if you consume a lot of sugars, it wouldn't be beneficial for you. Ginseng and gotu kola and licorice are good for your adrenal glands, so it'll help you with your production of hormones and stress hormones and help you cope with a lot of stressful situations. People with the glandular structure tend to have emotional fluctuations. They tend to be the type that what you see is what you get, and they don't hide their feelings under a veil. They like to express themselves, and they generally like to be a positive person. Sometimes though they can have mood swings, and they're often attributed to having low sugar. And if you don't control your sugar levels well, you'll tend to have the mood swings. It also could be lacking sleep. That could be doing that to you as well. And what I could see in your eyes, Christina, as well. Yeah, what I could see in your eyes, I could see that you've got your cogwheel collarette, that's a little sort of a division between the outer edge of your iris and the pupil. There's this other membrane, and that's called the collarette. Your collarette is a cogwheel shape, and those people have a predisposition to diabetes, so it's important to keep your weight under control. If you don't have diabetes, it's important to keep your weight under control and eat well. Try to avoid the sugar fixes. These people with the cogwheel collarette tend to blend in well with anybody they're with in terms of personality. They can have a variety of scenarios, and they actually blend in quite well. But sometimes they can be in a bit of a roller coaster ride if they are not careful. They can sort of tend to be, on up and down pathway, so you have to be careful with that. Your right iris, it showed faint but emerging shadows around the pupil border. That indicated to me that you kind of probably have a bit of a low acid problem. Do you find you have a bit of indigestion, or do you have stomach issues from time to time, or certain foods just
I
don't
used to.
do well?
I used to.
Used to?
Not as much now. I've been taking probiotics.
Oh, really? Taking probiotics? How long have you been taking probiotics for?
Oh, I take it off and on, but I did a high dose thing probably a few months ago.
A high dose thing, yeah.
Yeah,
What was that?
good yeast, and then I did the bomb after it.
Oh, really? The bomb? What's the bomb got in it?
The bomb's got 500 billion good bacteria or something like that. It's really strong.
And you find that's made a difference?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's excellent.
Mm.
Yeah, that's one way of helping nurturing your body, helping you looking after your digestive system, which often things start from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you ever had gastric ulcers in the past, or
No.
no?
No.
Yeah. What about in the past eating junk food?
Yes, it's it's hormonal.
Hormonal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Before my period, I need to have some junk food, especially chocolate.
So you tend to be a person that likes their sugar fixes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where one of those herbs, Genema, that we had before, and the bitter melon would be useful for you to actually have, because it might make you not quite have these fixes,
Mm.
and stop you from going on the roller coaster ride with your diet.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah. You have, what about any health problems? Do you have any health problems at the moment?
At the moment, I've got osteoarthritis in the knees, so it's bone on bone.
Oh, really?
So I'm trying to lose a bit of weight just to make it less painful.
Yeah.
I think it's starting to improve a bit.
Oh, really?
I've lost a bit of
Yeah,
weight.
lost a bit of weight, so that's made a difference.
Mm.
What's your ideal weight? Do you know what that is?
My ideal weight.
Your ideal weight. So then that you know what you're aiming for.
Oh, I probably just need to lose like 5 kilos, 6 kilos, and that will be my ideal weight. So I'm not extremely overweight.
But you've lost a bit and you've noticed that's helped you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, so we really need to look after your bones.
Mm.
And it starts from ground up.
Yeah, I think it's due to the tennis. I played a lot of tennis,
Yeah.
so I worn out my knees from that.
So really, instead of tennis, though, you can still play tennis, but you just have to be a bit careful and don't push yourself.
It's hard because it's very active.
Yeah, you should probably take up some
A lot of pouncing on your joints.
low impact sports, perhaps like swimming.
Yeah. Swimming will be good.
Yeah. Anyway, multi-digestive enzymes would be helpful, making sure that you get enough nutrients in your food, your calciums, magnesium, good protein, you need collagen, you need everything. So having a good diet is very important, and if you're finding you're not really, if you find your bones are not as strong, you really need to make sure that you keep up your nutrients, especially for the bones. You may not be absorbing your minerals quite as well as you should be. So making sure that you have good quality food. I noticed on your right iris, your left iris, you had this sort of a stack of these lacuna, these sort of round rings, and it looked like a roof tile lacuna, which doesn't mean you've got any problem, but it is in that ciliary zone. There's the pupillary zone, then the collarette, which is that membrane, then the ciliary zone. In the ciliary zone, you've got these roof tile lacunas at about 40 minutes on the iris diagram, which I've got just here, in your left eye, and it could indicate some problem with your or potential problem or potential vulnerability to your spine.
To my spine.
To your spine, yeah. So you've got to be very careful, again, with nutrition, with your calcium, with your vertebrae, the whole lot.
Okay.
So that could indicate some spinal issue. Actually, I found the same thing in your right eye at the 20-minute mark, around about the 20 minutes, which also is the spinal area. So you might be prone to spinal problems if you're not careful. Like if you're not
Oh.
looking after your diet, you're not looking after your calcium, you can end up with spinal concerns. Do you have any spinal problems?
I had a bulging discs in my neck, and I have
Okay.
got bulging discs
Okay, you know
on my
whereabouts they
back.
are?
Yeah,
Yeah, mainly in your neck.
I got 3 in my neck, but they're okay now. I
How did you
haven't-
treat those?
With steroids and anti-inflammatories,
Okay.
and I've got some bulging discs where in my back, but they don't affect me at all. I'm not in any pain. I'm not in any pain really at all. It's just that the neck ones, I think, they got inflamed, so they
Okay.
caused some problems.
So you're much better now, are you?
Yes, yes.
Yep. So the medication you're on for those was what? What did you have?
I had steroids.
Steroids.
What's it called? What's a steroid?
Prednisolone,
Prednisolone, yeah.
and that fixed it up.
And Celebrex, anti-inflammatory.
Celebrex. Anyway, it's important now that we look after that.
I think it could have been due to it's wear and tear, getting older, wear and tear, lifting a lot.
Yeah.
I was told from over lifting and lifting heavy things, and that's what it was all from.
Yeah. Anyway, this faint colorette, this lightly coloured this shadow around the pupil border might indicate the low acid, so the digestive enzymes. Do you find that you are getting indigestion at the moment, or you're not?
Not really. I don't really suffer from much. I used to get indigestion, but not anymore.
Yeah.
I think when I used to have the good, now that I've done a few doses of the good bacteria, and I'm on a diet, so I'm taking the powder stuff, which has got good bacteria in it as well. The
And what's that?
protein powder,
Protein powder?
Isoway.
You taking that to lose weight or
Yes, to lose
yeah.
weight, and gives me all my vitamins for
Mm.
breakfast, and it's got the good bacteria in it as well. So
Terrific.
I haven't really had indigestion for a while, to be honest with you. Since I've been doing the good bacteria.
Now, your pupil border, one side of it looks a little bit indented and not smooth, which is no major concern, but it might indicate poor mineral absorption. So this relates now back to your bones, like your calcium, your minerals, magnesium, manganese.
Do I get that what do I get that through?
Minerals, you get it from eating good vegetables.
What about oysters?
I'm not quite sure of the composition, but in oysters would have a lot of protein, a lot of cholesterol. They may
Okay.
have iodine and things. I'm not quite sure, but it's something we can look into.
Okay.
A lot of zinc in those sort of things, and that's one of the nutrients you do need
Okay.
as well. Yeah, I feel that also you could probably greatly benefit from herbs and remedies to improve your lymphatic circulation,
Okay.
because it'll certainly help remove toxins from your body, especially when you're dieting and looking after your weight. You may be sort of releasing a few toxins from your fat stores, and you may be actually kind of needing good elimination. So good massaging, drinking plenty of water, high fibre. Basically every part of your body that drains anything should be encouraged to drain better and easier.
So I really should go for massages every week.
Massages
Once a week.
frequently, yeah. That'll get
Frequently.
things flowing. And combined with no sugars, no lollies, no sweets, no white foods.
I can do the massaging bit, but I don't know about the lollies.
So that'd be very important. Anyway, I found both of these roof tile lacunas in both areas, so it does indicate like the spine could be a potentially weak point for you, and of course
Okay.
you're having some problems with it.
Yeah.
So we need to really be careful of that. So I think you've got to play your tennis in a gentle manner,
Yeah.
and look more for swimming, both eyes had kind of this dark ring around the perimeter, and that could indicate sort of like poor venous circulation or blood flowing back to your heart. So we need to make sure we're not kind of overdoing ourselves. We need to make sure we're not, overindulging in sugars and salts and things that, make things worse for us. You've got a light contraction furrow on one of your eyes that I noticed, and that kind of maybe indicates a little bit about your personality. It might make you like a carefree sort of a person. You can be carefree. You might seem to be carefree, but you might kind of feel a bit of the tension to some extent. But yeah, it's the sort of person you are. Perhaps what you see is what you get. So you're not really fussed or oversensitive and tippy-toeing around.
Yeah.
There was a radial in your right eye. Your cogwheel collarette, it goes like a jagged edge. Some people got a really round collarette. That's the part between one part of the blue and the other part of the blue part of your eye, sort of in the middle of your coloured part of your iris. There was one point which was a cogwheel which was right in the middle of your right eye, and it had a point, and then it extended, and it had a little collarette, and it extended, and it was a white coloured fibre, and the little, sorry, not the little collarette, but the lacuna, there was a little dark lacuna in the middle, and it came really straight south from your right eye, and that little spot there kind of indicates to me your knees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, your knees, your legs, your hip part of your body. It could be anything. It may not be anything at all, but it just might mean that you are sensitive to that particular area, which we know your knees are playing up.
Yep, they are.
So that's kind of a possibility that's showing up a bit of a weakness there. So that was quite amazing, I thought, really, that showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything else that you'd like to tell me about your general health, general well-being? How do you find your diet is? What are you eating a lot of?
I try to be pretty healthy, because I am on a diet, so I'm careful what I eat now. I have those protein drinks once or twice a day, depends. Some days, not every day, or maybe one day I might not have it if I've got a party or something. But I think I eat pretty good. I tend to have I tend to pick all day on little things, like I might have a piece of fruit, then I might have, a sandwich, a toast, maybe toast.
Fruit.
Yeah.
Sandwich for lunch.
Yeah, if I don't have that, then I might just have my shake.
Do you have white bread?
Whatever I got at the house, So sometimes white, sometimes brown, wholemeal. Just
Now,
depends.
how many pieces of fruit do you eat?
Oh, fruit. Oh, I eat a few pieces of fruit, probably, I don't know. Just varies every day, 2 to 3 pieces of fruit a day.
And what's dinner like?
Oh, that's good. I have different stuff for dinner. It's hard to say what I have.
Because it's important, like you got to compare it to something. Some people might think they're on a healthy diet. They might have, pizza for lunch and a quiche for dinner, and
Yeah, well, if I have pizza for lunch, I'll be probably full, and for dinner I'll probably have a shake.
yeah. because you've got to try to
Yeah.
keep in the 5 serves of veggies.
Yeah, I tend to steam veggies or have
the
salads.
2 serves of fruit. It'll help you in so many ways. It'll help increase your bowel movements. By the way, your bowel movements, how often are they occurring?
Every day I go to the toilet.
Every day. And normally, they're nice. Would you describe it as very soft
Yeah, they're soft.
or very firm?
Most of the time they're soft, unless before I menstruate, then they could change, and sometimes it could be a bit firm. It's a hormonal thing.
So you feel you may have hormonal issues happening, or it's
Yes,
just
I'm going
normal
through
for you?
going through
Going through
menopause.
So you're quite young to have, or going to have menopause, aren't you?
Oh, they say people start young. You can go for menopause for quite a long time.
Yeah, so we've got to try to look at our diet, have the fluids